Hello and welcome to Fit With Us episode 83. We're back in the big time with all the gang back together. Troops, how are we?
Gary, you go first.
I am fucking smashing. Absolutely
Smashing.
smashing. Yes, I'm great. I'm feeling good, apart from needing a haircut, but we can live with that. How are you, Shannon?
My ovaries are on fire.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah,
Eh,
that's all I have this morning. I woke up and I was like, you know what? The last few weeks have been actually all right, manageable pain. And then I woke up and I was like, oh.
Yeah, you were
So I
saying
hate
that on
myself.
Monday that your ovaries were feeling a lot better, but there you are.
Yeah.
Kyle, how are you?
My ovaries are fine, Gary. Thanks for asking.
Good, good, good.
Um,
How's the rest of you?
yeah, all right. A wee bit sore because I've started doing Romanian deadlifts again for the first time in a long time,
Oh,
I'm getting quite competitive with myself because I'm not actually deadlifting properly at the moment. So I'm just doing remaining deadlifts as the major hinge movement, and I've started racking it up to like doing 150 and 160. And I'll tell you what, that is spicy. My wee hammies and glutes are singing to me every time I stand up. Like I'm pretty sure if I stood up right now in the podcast, you'd hear a wee bit of opera. It's bad.
did you see your RDL in 150?
One, well, technically 160 for six.
Fucking hell, man.
Yeah, my spine feels like that. My spine sometimes goes, "What are you doing to us? What are you doing?"
Mate, that is nasty, man. You're RDL in
I
my
thought I was a
fucking.
bad bitch getting to 90.
I
No, I'm
know.
the true Brad bitch here.
You're RDL in my one rep max deadlift.
In fairness, though, mate, I spent years doing powerlifting, so if I'm shite at absolutely everything else, but you give me a hinge movement, a squat movement, a press movement, I'm there.
I just throw in some burpees and you're fucked.
Off, mate. Don't. I can do about six good burpees and I look good. I put my camera on for the first six, and then after that, it's a car crash. Um,
Don't even want to see his wall balls.
Oh.
you watch your attitude there, pal.
Yeah, I've been getting really into training at 6 a.m. just now. I've been um obviously listening to you talk about how much more productive you've been by training in the morning, Kyle. I thought, you know what? Something has to change for me because I was finding myself staying up to 11 o'clock at night, midnight sometimes, back up in the morning with a wee man. I thought, nah, I'm going to need to change something. So I decided to start training in the morning. I'm back home. I'm showered before the wee man even gets out of bed, and it's just freed up so much more time. Don't get me wrong, strength is a wee bit down, but like I'm starting to get used to it a wee bit, and yeah, I'm really fucking enjoying it. But I never thought I would actually see the day where I said I enjoy being in a commercial gym.
Two things on that, mate. I think genuinely, like if you'd asked me 3 years ago and were like, "Oh, you're going to train at 6 in the morning," I'd be like, "No chance. I am not one of those people." But do you know what? It is a game changer. See, in terms of just getting stuff done, I'm like, I have a gym session done. I've done 4,000 steps with a dog. I've had my
Oh,
breakfast before 9 o'clock. Like it's genuinely the rest of what I can do in my day is great because I'm like, there's no stress or pressure or whatever. Well, there's plenty of stress and pressure, but it's just less so in terms of I've actually done a bit. Movement genuinely can massively help in terms of mindset. So, yeah, 100%.
it's good, man. It's good. I'm enjoying it. Very dommy though. I don't know if it's because I've not get much fuel in my body at that time in the morning, but I'm finding myself being very, very dommy when compared to my typical kind of training time in the afternoons, lunch times. So I don't know if that's got some correlation to it, but yeah, I'm the same as you, Kyle. Very hamstrings are fucked. Essentially, is what I'm trying to say.
I, I was going to say, mate, I did listen to absolutely everything you said, but my mum's staying in this room and there's a light on behind me, and I can't for the life of me find out how to turn it off, and it's really doing my nutting. And now every part of my OCD is like, I feel like just flinging it, just
To
fucking
be
break.
fair, mate, you look absolutely fine. I'm dark as fuck here because my lights died.
It's it's not about how I look. It's just now it's annoying me. It's irrationally annoying me for no reason outside of the fact that it exists. This is probably how Jen feels about me.
Brilliant. I'm trying to actually adjust my camera because it keeps like I don't know why I'm so fucking dark. Touch up my appearance. Oh no, that makes me no. Anyway, right,
Right.
Shannon, what's been happening with your week?
Oh, I've just been working out, calls. House has been still very full. We are very blessed to have Jared and Kiva stay for a wee bit longer since they had to come back for an emergency. So it's nice to spend some quality time with them.
Yeah, I'm no idea what the fuck you just said there because your internet went all fucked.
Ah,
Did it go fucked for you, Kyle?
In fairness, mate,
I
no, no.
said that.
Whoa, oh, wow. I was about to say, it actually was fine for me, but now it's gone fucked.
Yeah, Shannon, it's fucked.
I don't.
Ah,
I'll,
can you
I'll,
hear me?
we can hear you.
Yeah. I don't know if you can hear us.
Don't think so. Shannon's
I
currently
don't
on a
know.
mission to
Maybe I
Mahal.
shouldn't talk.
Um, right, troops. We're going to dive into it. We sent over. We put in the group chat the video that's going a bit viral at the moment about should PTs be in shape. You both watched it, didn't you?
Yes.
I've got Shannon. I'm assuming you've got
Yes,
in your head. Yeah, cool. Happy days.
See,
Don't.
Shannon's 30 seconds fucking behind.
Let's go. The fat woman in that documentary's probably got time to
I'm
get.
going to disappear for a second.
Cool.
Yeah. I
Never.
can, Kyle, I can edit this. Like, don't worry if I wait, like, you feel like we're wasting time here. I can edit it and just kind of fucking jump back to when Shannon's back.
I think what we'll do here. I'm going to pause it for a second. Right, so we'll dive into it. I put into the group chat the video that's going viral with should a PT be in shape? You both watched it, didn't you?
Yes.
Yep.
Um, I've got plenty, and we've got plenty to discuss on it. But Shannon, I'm going to come to you first. What's your initial thoughts?
Oh, why am I first? Uh, I'm going to be hated, but I would agree to an extent, but I don't agree with the points that he made.
Should see just before we get into, should we just quickly summarize the premise of the video?
Go on. Do you want to do it? Do you want me to do it?
Aye, so basically a YouTuber, I can't remember the guy's name. I will post the link to the video that we're talking about in the show notes so you can go and watch it for yourselves.
Joe Phaser.
Um,
Joe Phaser's the
Joe
guy's name.
Fraser. So basically he went to a gym and he hired a plus size personal trainer to take him through a session. And then he went to another gym and he hired a personal trainer that was pretty shredded, good, in good shape to take him through a session. And then at the end of the video, they basically sat down together and spoke about kind of where they're coming from. The guy that was in shape, he thinks that PTs should be in shape. He doesn't really agree with body positivity, plus size personal trainers. And the plus size personal trainer said that, basically said that, yeah, she argued against that point, essentially. So it's a very interesting watch. There was lots of good points made in it, and that's pretty much what we're going to kind of talk about
Covered
today.
today.
To go from her side, just to be even clearer on that, because I think a lot of time you can go, it's one size versus another size, which it really was. But her viewpoint on it was that you don't, she inspires people to realize that they don't need to be a certain size to go to the gym, was her mantra. And on his side of things, he was opposite and said it's morally, was his words, it's a moral duty for a personal trainer to be in shape, was the two different real arguments that came down to at the end of it. It's about 17 minutes of a watch. It's definitely worth watching after this podcast, not before it, clearly, not during it. Fucking go anywhere, you're here for the journey, but definitely worth watching.
I would also like to clarify, I did not like either one of them, if I'm honest. They both bothered me.
Tell me, Shannon, what bothered you?
I'd probably like the unwillingness on her side to hear a different point of view and the cockiness on his side. I was like, neither one of these are representing the fitness industry very well in this argument. Neither one of them wanted to hear the other person's opinions. They just were like, right, wrong, good luck to you. So they were bothering me a wee bit with that. I don't like the phrasing of have to be in shape because that gives the illusion that the PT has to be like like absolutely jack the bits. Um, but for me, I would say a PT would have to be someone that can inspire health and fitness and show an example of it. And that's where I kind of lean more towards his side, even though out of the two of them, I didn't like him at all. I thought he was an absolute bollocks, to be fair. I thought he was really rude and I didn't like the way he used moral. That really bothered me. I was like, that's a horrible way to explain this. That's me.
We I quite agree. I think he was a bit of a bell end. Um, I didn't like the way that she used her mental health
Mm,
as a weapon, as an excuse. You know, she's not got in the shape that she's in through a few mental health episodes. It's been years and years of abuse with food. It's been years and years of neglect with food. And now she's using her mental health as the excuse to work in the health and fitness industry, and try and, get people in the gym and help people, which I think is an amazing thing. I
yes,
think what she's
agree
doing is an
there.
amazing thing. I think her reasoning behind it, like the mental health side of things as an excuse, is, I don't know. My answer to the whole thing, should a personal trainer be in shape, is it depends. And what I mean by that is it depends what you are coaching. If you're coaching bodybuilder type esque training, I think you should look a certain way. If you're coaching, like her point was, she's just coaching plus size people, people that aren't confident, just to get herself in the gym. Amazing. Like, obviously, that's the kind of the job of most PTs, is to just to get people in the gym, get them a wee bit more confident. If you're coaching strength, if you're coaching people how to get strong, you should probably be strong yourself. You don't have to look a certain way to be strong, but it does help. Um, but yeah, I think my answer is it depends. Kyle.
Kyle. Now, bear in mind, Kyle actually has written down all his points. Like, Science Guy is truly back, Gary. All
Oh,
right.
oh, I know, I know.
I didn't write down my points. I asked questions to ask you. That's to try and keep things fairly linear. So wind your neck in, Shannon.
Full disclaimer, full disclaimer. Kyle disclosed to me as well before we started recording that he's watched the video 4 times
Yeah.
so he can get questions. So he's went
Me and
through it with
Gary
a
are just
fine-tooth
free
comb.
falling.
Right,
Yes.
so I think it's a very hot topic, and one of the things that Shannon said there was that they couldn't see each other's point, and I actually think, yes, of course, they've chosen two people from opposite ends of the spectrum deliberately. It wasn't by chance they've chose two people. I think if you watch it, and I've watched it 4 times to pick up on, make sure I didn't miss anything. If you look at the way it started, she met the guy and was like, "I'm not going to train you hard." That was said deliberately. So on one hand, that's painting it as if avoiding hard things, whereas on the opposite end of the spectrum, his session was literally everything was to failure. It was the hardest session he's ever done. And I think actually like if I was in the room, I kind of want to go, "You're both wrong. You're both wrong. Neither of you are right. Like you both have valid points, but in totality, you are both extreme and you are both wrong." And actually, I think on purposely, this was done because this is all you see on Instagram right now. It's one or the other, and actually, it doesn't help anybody because on one hand, I think you look at her about her body positivity thing, and I do have questions that I'm going to ask you guys about that. But I think when you look at that, it's almost avoidance of hard things will make it okay for you. And when in actual fact, I think sometimes to gain confidence, you need to do difficult things. It's not to get confidence. It's not the abandonment of difficult things. It's making sure that those difficult things are progressive. Now, the biggest argument that she would have is she is taking the hardest thing for someone is to get through the doors of a gym. Granted, 100%. But in my eyes, what is the point in going to the gym if what you're doing in the gym is fucking pointless anyway?
Yeah.
Like, there's no point in going somewhere that's particularly difficult to go to if you're not doing anything whilst you're there. It's literally a waste of your time. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, his argument was painted that you had to, like, man, the guy was literally sipping fucking protein as he was like talking through his chat at the end of it. Like, it's very much a Tupperware containers and protein shakes and training to failure. And the guy, you can tell both of them have literally, their personality has become what they do. So I do think there's an element of them both being wrong on that. But I'm going to ask you both, and to be fair, sorry, on Gary's thing, I don't think I could have summed it up any better myself. I did have messages on Instagram where I put up, should PTs be in shape? And I think there was a 73% margin of people who say yes, and there was a 27% of people who say it doesn't matter. So 3 out of every 4 people we can surmise think it's important for a PT to be in shape. Now, I went a wee bit deeper and asked people what their views on that. Pretty much a majority of people say they don't need to have six-pack abs, but they need to be in some form of shape. My thing back to them was it depends on who the coach. Similar to what Gary said, it's like if they're a running coach, they best be fucking running. If they're a strength coach, they best be strong. Like if you looked at like people at the top end of powerlifting, a lot of them just look like normal people. You probably wouldn't pick them out as like being even a gym goer, yet they can deadlift 400 kilos, and you're going, right, cool. They're obviously very good at what they can do. They don't need to look massive when it comes to that. Whereas if you're a bodybuilding coach, like realistically, you have to look like a bodybuilder. Like I'd be out of shape. All of us would be out of shape to niche into bodybuilders. Does that mean that we should be personal trainers? I don't know. There's an argument there. I would argue that the people we help we're in shape for, and that's the point. But I'm going to ask you guys to play the same game that they played. And I'm going to ask you, so the options, I'm going to say a statement and you have the options if you strongly agree, you disagree, or you strongly disagree. So, first
Let's get cancelled.
Okay, it's your podcast. Who's going to cancel us? Body positivity is a dangerous movement.
Agree.
Agree, yeah.
Reasons.
I'm all for confidence and being happy in your own skin, right? But there's a fine line between being happy in your own skin and promoting unhealthy, dangerous habits and behaviors, right? I'm all for people that want to live life with a smile on their face. Wear the fucking bikini. I'm all for it. Like wear the bikini at the beach. Don't give a fuck what anybody else thinks. But I have an issue when it comes to promoting unhealthy habits and telling, especially kids and the youth of the generation, that it's okay to be plus size. It's dangerous to be plus size. It's unhealthy. But you still have plus size quote unquote models on TikTok, Instagram, telling everybody that they feel amazing, they feel great, I've got so much energy. You don't. You don't. Your body is literally screaming at you. Your joints are sore, you're lethargic, you're always hungry because you're not eating the right stuff. Your skin's probably all fucked because it's all breaking out. So it's a very dangerous. I wouldn't say very dangerous. It can be a dangerous thing to be promoting, I would say. But again, I'm all for people being confident in their own skin. Be happy, be confident in your own skin, but don't lie and bullshit and promote it as if it's a good thing, especially if you are. But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. On the other end of the spectrum, you've got people that are incredibly thin as well. So it's not just plus size. It's people that are incredibly thin that eat less than 1,000 calories a day that pretend that they feel amazing. They can barely lift themselves up a fucking set of stairs because they are super weak, super fragile. They eat a fucking cucumber for lunch. Like, so there's that's two opposite ends of the spectrum. There's very extreme, but like it's the same as everything, Kyle. Like there's extreme, or Kyle and Shannon, sorry. There's extreme parts of everything, I guess. But I think it can be pretty dangerous if social media is anything to go by.
Yep.
Nail on the head, Gary. The one thing I would add to it is again, I love the idea of being comfortable in your own skin. Um, but the plus size side of it all, I believe Lizzo kind of started that, and now look at Lizzo. She fucking went on Ozempic and dropped all the weight. So I don't think she was that body positive about herself. I think she was selling an illusion to make herself feel better back in the day. Because the minute a quick fix came along, she jumped on it. Um, but the same side, The Kate Moss, nothing tastes as good as being skinny. You look
Oh, don't
horrendous.
fucking
You
start me on
look
that
like you
quote.
can't fucking stand, gal.
Oh,
So,
that
like, be
quote.
comfortable
That
in
quote
your own
rubs me
skin.
up the
But
wrong way. Like that really rubs me up the wrong way. That quote. Nothing
yeah.
tastes as good as skinny feels. Go fucking put your head down a toilet pan and press the flush button.
But do you think she regrets saying that now, or do you think she stands by it because nothing's changed for her in the last,
Mate,
what, 15 years?
nothing tasted good to her because she was always full of fucking cocaine.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Like,
So
it's the truth.
utter nonsense. Yeah,
But
nothing
for the
tastes as
average person, I think body positivity in the sense that, like, they are healthy, they are mobile, they are able to, yeah, 100%. But you don't need a six pack. I had a six pack. I haven't seen it in about 2 years at this point. I'm okay with that. I'm comfortable in my own skin. But the two extremes, no, that's just a load of nonsense, in my opinion.
I think we've come away from the part where sometimes I think you just need to tell people something's not okay, and that being okay,
Yeah,
not having an echo chamber of people behind you saying that things are okay. Because from my own experiences, and she mentioned self harm, she mentioned about being fit and your ability to look at her fitness. I'm going to say, firstly, again, if I'm going to be science guy, I'm going to bring up the definition of fitness. So, Oxford's definition of fitness is the condition of being physically fit and healthy. And if you wanted to go further into it, the second part of that is the quality of being suitable to fulfill a particular role or task. Now, in terms of being optimally fit, I would absolutely argue the woman in that documentary wasn't optimally fit. So that wasn't massively challenged in the documentary, but I would say, like, if she's justifying that she's fit, just because she can walk up the stairs without being out of breath doesn't mean that she's fit. Like, in terms of the limitations that she's having on her body, the body fat that's actually causing her issues, then she's got massive, like, she has massive issues. And I don't think it's okay for people to tell her that's okay. She is physically unhealthy and she is at massive risk of so many things. Her heart is under so much pressure, like maintaining that level of mass. Is that healthy? No. On the opposite end of the spectrum, bodybuilders who load themselves up full of gear and are also abnormally big size of muscle mass is also not healthy. So I'm not just bashing her. It's unhealthy, full stop. But I think sometimes when we're talking about the point of being, is body positivity movement dangerous? I'm all for people feeling good in their own skin, and that's fine. But feel good in your own skin within the realms of healthy and good practice. I'll take my own examples on this. I've through the years had alcohol issues that I've thrown out there. I have also self harmed, and at both times I've had people tell me what I was doing was wrong, and I've had them pretty much say to me like, "You need to have a look at yourself, and you need to ultimately sort your shit out." If I wanted to step away from that, I'd done a talk on men's mental health during the summer. Um, I could go to a pub on a Monday night, and I had once, and I realised that everybody is really nice and warm in a pub on a Monday night when you're hungover from a Sunday and you have a few pints, and the people there are all very much going, "No, I understand. You know, it's a tough weekend. You have a few, you'll feel better. It's like we've all been there, whatever." But they're there every Monday, they're there every Tuesday, they're every day of the week, and they all lean into each other, going, "It's fine to be in the pub 7 days a week." If you surround yourself with people like that to tell you it's okay, you'll become more of that. Now, on one hand, I'd love to believe that that's okay, and if you lean into that, that's okay. But do you know what? That's not healthy. Like, it's genuinely not healthy. You need people in your life to tell you what you're doing isn't healthy. And similar to what Shannon said there, like, people talk about body positivity until there's a way of doing things easily. Like the moment that Lizzo got whatever she got, and I think that the body positivity movement, I've seen a good Instagram reel on this. They should be the people that are dead against Ozempic and stuff, because if you're positive in your body, that should be even more unhealthy. You shouldn't need that, but they're all taking it, aren't they? So body positivity for me, it is a very dangerous movement. That's me done on that point.
excellent. Next point.
Next point, right? So being overweight is a choice.
Oh, Shannon, go fast.
Can I be in the neutral?
No, no fence
No.
setters here. No.
They had a fence on the thingy, the video.
This isn't their show, Shannon. This is our
Oh.
show.
Um,
Okay, if you're going to sit in the fence, tell me why you're sitting in the fence.
I think it depends on the person.
So, so, so it would be a choice then. for a specific person.
Yeah. Okay, I agree then with the statement.
Right, so you're agreeing that being overweight is a choice. You agree that
Yes.
what your choices lead to you being overweight. Okay.
Yes, that's yeah, that sounds better than the blunt statement of like just yeah.
Yeah, I am also going to agree with that now that I've had 30 seconds to
A
think about it.
context of it.
Yeah. Shannon, do you want to kick us off with why and then we'll ask Kyle?
Um, we are definitely getting cancelled, but anyway, fuck it. It's our podcast. Uh, so we all make choices every single day. The moment you get up, you make a choice. You get up or you stay in bed. You brush your teeth or you don't. You have the ability in you to choose healthier options, but the easiest option is probably to get whatever is handiest to you, which is takeaways and that. There is always a choice in these matters. Like, you don't just magically gain weight overnight, it's something that you accumulate over time. So you're constantly making the same choices over and over again will result in being overweight. On the opposite side of that, when you try to make good choices all the time and then start restricting yourself, you also choose to go down that restrictive path. You need to get the best of both. You need to be able to enjoy both of life 100%. But I do think we are either going one way or the other, and you can go in the middle. You can be in the middle of it all. You don't have to be extreme on both sides.
Right.
Yeah.
I can't let you be in a podcast and not challenge you on some of what you've said. So, do you not think
Oh,
that genetics and medication can be a massive part of what actually causes weight gain?
not to the full extent. Like if you take birth control for an example, like birth control, the first side effects you're told about is you might gain weight on it. That's down to hormones. That's your hormones changing. Did I gain the weight? I'll take me as an example. So I've been on birth control what from 12 years of age. Uh Gary actually recently came off it, so wow, crazy stuff. Uh
Are you dropping tons of weight now?
no,
Oh, mad. Right, anyway, go on.
mad. So went on at 12 years of age. Could you say that the weight I gained over from 12 up until what time did I join biofitness? Maybe 23 was down to my birth control. No, it was from me drinking. It was from me takeaways. It was from me being a lazy bitch and just getting lifts everywhere and not fucking walking because who walks anywhere? Uh, like those were my choices. I didn't choose a healthy lifestyle till I was in like literally till my mom died, and then that was my only outlet. So up until 19 years of age, I wasn't exercising. There's a reason I gained weight. It's not down to birth control.
I think we found something that Shannon's incredibly passionate about.
Rugby, clearly.
I'm going to back you up 100%, Shannon. I completely agree. What I would say about the whole medication and genetics, can they play a part in you gaining weight? Potentially.
Yeah.
Your body might respond differently to certain foods, certain exercises. You might get different stimulus you know from the way someone else moves, exercises, and eats. Does it excuse the weight gain that leads to being overweight? No, because regardless of what medication you're taking, regardless of your genetics, the laws of fat loss still apply the exact same way. It all comes down to calories in, calories out, no matter what
Hmm.
medication you're taking, no matter how genetically fucked you might think you are. Even the likes of menopause, right? Menopause can have like a huge impact on how much weight you hold on to, how slow it comes off. All you have to do, unfortunately, is maybe work a little bit harder. But it is still down to choice, in my opinion. It is. You don't just make one bad choice and then you gain weight. As you touched on, Shannon, it is consecutive bad decisions over an extended period of time. It doesn't just happen in a week, 2 weeks, a month, 2 months. It is over a long period of time of consecutive poor or bad decisions and choices that leads to you being overweight. So yes, I do think it's a choice.
I am going to agree, but I'm also going to put massive context onto that. It is easier for a lot of people than it is not.
Mhm.
60%. Nobody ever likes hearing this number, but like 60% of your results will come from your genetics. The problem for most people is they then overlook the 40% of things that they can control. Um, I was speaking to Niall whilst we were running, and he was saying that he's like, I used to always think I was genetically couldn't lose weight, but then he actually talked about like when I started looking after my nutrition, doing some steps, like actually like measuring and managing things, that's where weight dropped off him. And he's like, but none of my family are in like great shape or anything like that. They all hold a bit more weight. And I'm like, well, that shows you exactly that, man. The guy's in his kind of mid 30s. I'm like, it's the first time he's like properly felt in good shape. I'm like, you can live for 35 years blaming your genetics, but it's more so just the fact that you can't like you're not controlling the things that you can control. With that said, though, the things that will make it extremely difficult, because there will be people listening to this going, oh, but I've tried everything or whatever. The things that make it extremely difficult for most people are, yeah, genetics might not be in your favour, but you also then add to that the like one of the arguments in this documentary that was happening was about medications. So she mentioned that medications can make you gain weight, and he argued, well, there's no medication that makes you gain weight because otherwise you just give it to people who are starving and it'd solve that problem. And to be fair, it's a fucking great point.
It was.
Now, her argument was side effects she went into, and then he kind of made a kind of stammering face, almost like, yeah, but that's a kind of bit of a cop out. And then she went, are you a pharmacist? Which he went, no, I'm a PT. In fairness, that shut the argument down, which is often what happens in these conversations.
I would also like to point out that she's not a pharmacist either.
No, I would actually go further than that and go, her entire fucking personality is built on mental health, yet she's not a psychologist, so or a therapist for that matter. So, yeah, while she's not that, she's also, and we'll talk about her price point very shortly, but I think from a point of view of we can still talk about things without having to be extremely. And if anything, I'm qualified in sports science, and it's the biggest lot of shite that I've ever done in my entire life. Like there's people out there who would know far more than me after coming from a degree on that. And I think if anything, like you start to realise there's lots of people. Yes, you should be qualified in what you do. Don't get that conflated. But I think just because you have a qualification, that doesn't mean that you know everything and anything, and you can't speak about things. People spoke about mental health before therapists were there. But with that, and to be fair, I also think we're at probably the worst state of mental health in our modern society. But again, that's a sub point. The point to that is when you add in, he and she are both right. The when you take medication, there are certain medications that can make it harder for you to see weight loss. What the mechanisms of what they work through are always the fact that they hold more water, and they can actually affect the way that your body deals with glucose and, as a byproduct, hunger. You are, if you combine the things together, and this is where most people would struggle, if you are somebody who is genetically predispositioned to struggle to lose weight, not impossible, you can absolutely do it. But then you add some form of medication, hormonal issue, whatever on top of that, you're talking it probably goes from 60% to 80% of what's controlled. The thing is, you need to fight for that 20%. And I have seen people do that and do that and do that, but people have a lot going on in their lives. And that's where they look at, right, well, I can't do it. And they give up and they don't stick to it for long enough, because if you don't see the scales going down after 5 days, if anything, sometimes it can go up. Then all of a sudden you make an assumption that it doesn't work for you. It is a choice, but it is a more difficult choice. I think that's where it started off with. As Shannon said, for some people, I don't know if I am doing your point, and that's the point you were trying to make. I think for some people it can be significantly harder, but at the same time, I think it is a choice for everybody. A harder choice for some people, an easier choice for some people. You see some people who are predispositioned to be genetically great and weight falls off them. Like you have somebody with a decent training history, decent amount of muscle mass, and like again, probably a man in their mid-20s, you give them a calorie deficit and 3 or 4 days of resistance training, man, and they'll be fucking, the weight will be falling off and they look great. Like, but exception, not the norm. Did that make sense?
Yeah,
Yes.
100%. Yep.
Cool.
And you did cover where I was coming from, because I'm like, some people, it's more, I'd say it's more to do with the mental aspect of it, being like, do they really want to fight for it, or is it just that they're not in the headspace to fight for that right now?
It's more so, in my opinion, about patience. We just live in a world now where patience is just fucking non-existent. Everybody wants to change yesterday. And if they don't, like Kyle said, if they don't see any sort of change within the first week, then they do come to the assumption that, oh, it must just be my genetics, and then it's just they just give up entirely. People that do have their genetics going against them, people that are taking specific medications that do maybe interfere with water retention and um, fat loss, etc. Unfortunately, you do have to work a wee bit harder, but that's a choice that is up to you to make.
Yeah,
Oh.
but yeah, no,
Yeah, I was waiting for Kyle there. I
I,
was like, I seen the face.
no, I was going to go down. I'm like, I'm going to be 15 minutes down that hole. It's one of those ones I've seen the entire conversation unfolding. I'm like, I'm just not going to park that one for a different day. Um, can we talk about just your impressions on the fact that she's charging 50 quid a session and he's charging 40 quid a session? Like, they clearly highlighted that for a reason, but just general initial impressions on that, or impressions on that, what we think.
Right, 50 quid a session. So say you do three, that's €150. For someone, I personally thought it was a bit of a rip-off, especially with her argument being, I help people get into the gym so they're not scared. You're overcharging people then because you're not pushing them to any sort of limits. I'm not saying you have to train them to failure, but if you're just taking them in and you just stand on a treadmill with them for the good 30 minutes before doing five exercises and charge them €50, that's ripping someone off, in my opinion. Um, to be fair, the other fella, as much as I don't really like him, 40 quid, and he really did put in the work. Like, he was very much engaged with the man that he was training. Whereas she literally forgot to count reps at one point and started making up numbers. And I was like, if I was paying someone 50 quid and they were carrying on like that, I would have been really annoyed walking out of there being like, she wasn't even paying attention to it.
Shannon, that's the sign of any good personal trainer, the fact that they can't count.
That's
Once
why I'm
it's
in the business.
once it's past 10 and I run out of fingers, I'm fucked. I'm just guessing as well.
Yes, it's always two more. Two more.
There's always many left, two more. I'm agreeing
She
with
went from
Shannon.
14 to 20 at one point. I was like, gal!
I'm agreeing with Shannon in that I genuinely believe that she is ripping people. It's daylight robbery. She is full on ripping people off. The fact that she did open with, "I'm not going to work you hard today, mate. I've paid you 50 quid. I want to be leaving here unable to fucking walk if that's the case." Now, obviously, that's not what I recommend doing every time you go into the gym. However, 50 quid to, yeah, walk on the treadmill for a bit, do a few little upper body exercises, no intensity, no real. Yeah, she was demonstrating the exercises, but there was no real coaching points or cues to improve things. Now, her reasoning behind what she was doing was because she said she was intimidated by the guy because he obviously knew what he was doing. So maybe she just didn't want to make an ass of herself trying to teach him how to squat or deadlift. Could also be because she can't squat or deadlift herself. So there's a few different things at play here as to why she charges so much and she didn't work the guy really hard. But in my opinion, daylight robbery for the guy charging 40 quid an hour is pretty standard, I would say. Between 30 and 40 quid, I think, is the kind of industry standard here. And in Scotland, I know it gets more expensive the further south you go. I've heard the gyms charging upwards of 100 to 120 quid a session and stuff like that. But you're talking like high end, like London gyms for that price. So I would say the 40 quid's pretty reasonable, especially for how into it was and how hard he pushed the guy as well. Again, you don't need to go into every single session expecting to not be able to walk out or train to failure, but he was really really into it. And I would be happy with the 40 quid an hour if he was training me like that every single day or every single week, sorry.
Where I have issues with it is the fact that you're talking about outcomes. Her outcome, because you need to listen to what she's saying in the first place, isn't anything to do with the gym. It's getting you into the gym in the first place. So literally, as a byproduct of getting you in the gym, that's her entire job done in her eyes. Not, I know I'm being very simplistic about that, but I mean, there's literally, she didn't mention a single thing about outcomes within the gym. She couldn't say the word hypertrophy, and like again, it's a difficult word to say. I get that, but at the same time, um, there is an issue in the sense that like if you're looking at her niche is going to be people who are petrified to go into the gym. Her job is to facilitate the fact that they can go to the gym, and she's there to essentially babysit them. We're going to have to make the assumption that those people aren't going to the gym without her, and really her entire business model relies on her being there with them. I think that's a dangerous business model to have, because my biggest issue with PT in the first place was I don't want people to have me forever, full stop. Her business model essentially relies on that by the sounds of it. And the thing is, if they're only going to the gym once a week, I don't know what she's selling them then at that point, because I'm like, even if they go to the gym once a week, you're paying her 200 quid a month to go to the gym once a week. And no matter what way we dress it up, there's not enough frequency, there can't be enough volume, there's not, like, in terms of tangibles, if it's going to move you forward, literally you are wasting your time. There's actually a bit of data somewhere to say that going to the gym once a week is actually more harmful than not going to the gym at all, which is mad. Like, we'll not go too deep into that, but the thing is, if you're looking at once a week, let's go on the premise that they're going at least twice a week. It's 100 quid a week you're paying her, and I don't know what you're really paying her for, because it is, if we're to look at it, she's not a qualified therapist. So like, the argument is, if she was a therapist and she's speaking to people whilst moving, that's a great business model to have. Go and get yourself a therapy degree and speak to those people to actually help solve their problems long term, get them moving whilst you're in the gym. You are having a tangible alongside it. She's not that. But at the same time, if you are going to just call it what it is, she's essentially a babysitter, and you're paying 50 quid for a babysitting service that just happens to be in a gym, is really my viewpoints on it. And I think that there is a bit of morality issues with that. I don't think, well, actually, there's the next question, the last question on it. Is it okay to be overweight/obese?
No.
Hard to answer
This it
without
is, no.
context. Is it okay if that's what you want? If that's what you're happy with, then yes, it's of course it's okay. Who the fuck am I to tell you that it's not okay for you to be overweight or obese? Like, is it okay health wise? Probably not. You're probably pushing yourself towards an early grave. Again, if that's something that you're happy with and you're okay with, then fucking all the power to you. But it's a difficult question to answer without context. Now I know that's a question they asked on the video. Um, yeah, I'm going to go for that answer. Hopefully that made sense what I was trying to say.
I was just straight and go, no, no. I just don't think it's okay. I don't think it's a good thing to be promoting, to be unable to get up a flight of stairs, unable to like get yourself out of bed. Like, see all those videos.
Sorry for interrupting. Can I ask you a question though? Because her argument is she can do all those things. So if we're talking about the girl in the video, her argument is she's okay because she can go up a flight of stairs and she can get out of bed even though she's the size she is. So let's remove the perceived fitness part of it. Like, is it okay to be that size?
Like, removing the fact that she is somewhat fit and just in general someone on exercise and obesity.
So in her head, she is as capable of potentially running, doing exercise as any of us. That in her head. Whether that's right or wrong, that's not the point we're arguing. The point we're arguing is the size that she actually is, and to be that size, like severely overweight or obese, is that okay? Providing that you're fit, I would say healthy. Her eyes she's fit and healthy. I'm playing devil's advocate here at the moment and going. Her argument to you right now is she can do it. If she was sitting here, she'd be like, I can do all that. Like, we're talking about her actual size or the size of people. Is it okay to be that size?
No, because it's still bad for your overall health. Like, you could run, you can do all those things, and in your head, if you think that's okay as your idea of healthy, then belt away, but it's not healthy. It generally is not good for the overall body. And that's the definition of health, is your whole body, not just what you can and can't do. I can run and I smoke. Does that mean I'm fucking healthy? Not really. Like,
Oh, fuck, I forgot I gave you 2025 to give up the cigarettes. It's right, cool. You've got another 32 days, Shannon,
you
left.
can't fucking force anyone to give up something they don't want. I've made this choice. I will make the choice when I want to make the choice.
Cool. Can't wait to
Yeah, I
get the
think
next
yeah.
And then
MRI.
yous are all fucked once I give them up because I'll be Sonic the Hedgehog coming along, cyst free.
I think yeah, I think we covered most of the points in that, but yeah, just to kind of reiterate, like from a health perspective, no, it's not okay. Straight up, like there's nothing about being overweight or obese that is good for your health. From a personal choice point of view, it's totally up to you. But you
Yeah.
have to accept the repercussions of your decisions and your choices. If you're okay with that, then as I said, who the fuck are we to tell you that it's not okay to be obese or overweight?
I'm going to throw out there. I don't think it's great, to be honest. I think the impact it'll have in your life is super big. Like if you're someone who's always been overweight, it's almost hard to show. Like I'd love for them to live on like a healthy body for like a day or two, just to actually see the quality and impact it'll have on someone's life. And I think sometimes when you get someone who's had such a massive change, you go, I love hearing stories of people going, do you know what? I didn't even realize it would feel this good and what I can do and the impact it has in your life. I think sometimes it's like you resign yourself when you're that size. Now, again, I'm going to throw it out there. Like, again, you can talk about the me not being able to understand that. Like, the heaviest I've been is 100 kilos. Like, it's not exactly documentary fat. Like, I was like, yeah, I had a few love handles and like, at five asides, I could probably run about 3 yards, but at the same time, like, nothing much has changed. But I think the point to that is like it's not had such an overwhelming impact in the sense that like I've not been able to go to regular shops and not pick out clothes, and I've not been completely ashamed to take my top off anywhere. Like if there's points where I'm like, oh, I might just keep my wee vest on when I'm on holiday or whatever, but I've never been at the point where I'm like, oh, this feels like embarrassing. So yeah, there's an argument there that I don't understand how that feels. But in terms of my closest relation to that as well, is like I go back to what I said when it comes to your choices. Like when I was struggling with my mental health because I was running a gym and I was trying to deal with all the stresses of renovating a house and running an online business. Like yes, my alcohol consumption went up. I didn't like hearing it, but like you had to own that. And like whilst there are people that can tell me it's okay, I think a lot of the times it's like you need to own the fact there is a you can't nothing comes consequence free. You do that, there's consequences to it. It felt like what I needed at the time, and that was my escape. A lot of people's is food, and I get that. But at the same time, food is more than just fuel. We need to look at that as to it's maybe not just trying to work a little bit harder, but actually dealing with some of the issues as to why you use food the way that you use food in the first place, rather than anything else. That's where deeper level coaching comes in. Shite coaching, and what annoyed me actually about that guy, because I've not brought up anything that's annoyed me about him. What annoyed me about him is when they had the conversation where he was like, "Oh, my clients are the same as your clients. My clients don't want to go into the gym, and my clients have anxieties and stuff as well." I I've been guilty as a coach of falling into that myself, where I'm like, "Oh, sure, I know what it's like to have anxiety, and I know what it's like to feel like that." And to be fair, I thought I understood what anxiety and depression was. I had absolutely no idea until it really hit me last year. And like to give context to that, I moved to Australia completely by myself, the other side of the world, packed a bag within a week, went and done it, and didn't feel homesick at all. No issues. During 2024, there was a point where for about 3 months, I couldn't go a walk with Rocky, or I didn't want to go a walk with Rocky because I was genuinely felt there was a feeling of dread, fear, sweating, couldn't do it, felt like the hardest thing in the world. So when anxiety kicks, I can understand when people with real anxiety, they don't want to go to the gym. That's a different story completely as to what I perceived to be anxiety. You said to me 5 years ago, somebody's got anxiety. I'd be like, I'll be fine. Do you know what? I'll be with them. It'll be grand. We'll get them in the gym, whatever. Like, you don't understand what anxiety is until you've actually gone through it. And I do think, and again, I don't want to speak for the boy, but I think there probably was a generalisation of, because he's maybe worked with a few clients that have a few wee issues that he's characterised, and he knows everything about anxiety and it doesn't exist, is probably my thing to that.
Yeah, I would probably agree. I think listening to obviously everybody's answers there, I think the question was poorly worded.
Mm.
So which is why there was such a broad answer from me. But no, that was you summed it up very, very nicely there, Kyle. So I appreciate that.
Mate, I think it was clearly done on purpose, and I also, without being too much of a dick about it, I think it was on purposely slightly driven towards not making her look bad, but also like it kind of was there to not really make paint that in the best of lights. And I don't know whether there is a way of painting it in the best lights, but you just need to look at within the first 3 minutes he had an advert for whatever clothing brand it was, but the clothing brand was fucking stuck to them, and like it was there to make your biceps look poppy and to have your pecs popping out and everything else. I'm like, he's very much clearly somebody who is very aesthetically driven, and I think with that he's going to be slightly biased. I think the video was very well done, but I also, if we're to be completely, it's not a scientific experiment between them both to see which is right and which is wrong. I think, as entertaining as it was, there probably is a few flaws in the way that it set things up, and a few of the questions were there designed to be particularly,
Bashing her.
yeah, bashing her. You, Gary, mentioned in the group chat, I was on purposely trying to steer away from not speaking about it before we got on the podcast, but you mentioned the handshake and
Yeah.
which, do you want to give a wee bit of context to that?
So yeah, at the end of the argument, obviously they weren't seeing eye to eye. They were disagreeing on pretty much everything that they were saying. But the guy did say, "Look, you genuinely want to help people, and that's amazing." And he offered her hand across the table, and she just looked at it and refused to shake his hand. So for me, in my opinion, she lost. That's when she lost the argument. That's when she lost any sort of substance, any sort of debate, any sort of presence, in my opinion, because she completely refused, point blank, to shake his hand and see any sort of rational reasoning that that guy was given, even though he was a pain in the arse. I do admit that he was a pain in the arse. But yeah, I think she lost the argument in that moment.
100% agree. I think that she literally just wouldn't agree to disagree because she's doubling down
Yeah.
on her reasons. And if that's the story she wants to tell herself, belt away, gal, but there is flaws in your story, just like there's flaws in his.
Yeah,
I'm
100%.
I'm controversially going to disagree with both you. I respect her reasons for not shaking his hand, because if you actually, again, watching it 4 times, he done nothing really but bash her, and pretty much quantified the fact that, like, morally she shouldn't exist as a personal trainer. And if me or you, or for instance, if I spent 20 minutes to half an hour saying that to either of you and giving you no wiggle room to defend or like listen to your argument, which he didn't, and disagreed with every point that you had, I kind of think, do you know what? You don't need to fucking shake his hand. Like, literally, he offered nothing to her in the way of words, and then tried to physically shake his hand to make it all right. And I'm like, don't think you painted yourself in the best of light there, buddy, either. So I kind of am all right with the fact that she didn't, because I also think, I'm like, in her head, if she shook his hand, literally she's gone on telly, been absolutely lambasted by him, pretty much been told that her reason for existence as a PT shouldn't exist, that she's morally shouldn't be there, and then what, shaking the guy's hand after that without giving a chance to for him listening to it. I, like, for one, fuck him. To be honest, I would be of the opinion, yeah, in the bin. Both of them should be in the bin.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you guys a question though. As a PT, do you think that she should be a PT? Do you think there's room for her being, well, no, without the pun, room for her in the gym? But do you think there is a place for her? People
Well,
like,
the fitness industry is such a diverse industry. I think if she's in it for the right reasons, then 100%. Like she can be in the fitness industry. Now, what I would untie from that term is probably not in the health industry. Health and fitness, although they technically do come hand in hand, are two very different things. You can be fit and unhealthy, like Shannon, essentially. Yeah. So,
But
um,
I'll own it. I'll never say I'm the best at what I do because I know I have my own
yeah.
flaws.
Does she belong in the gym? Everybody belongs in the gym.
Yeah.
Can she be a personal trainer? I would say she could be. But as long as she's doing it for the right reasons, not overcharging people to come into the gym for the very first time. I think she would be more suited to being a support worker rather than a personal trainer, if I'm being perfectly honest. A support worker that works alongside the fitness industry to help people get started on their fitness journey. Um, yeah, My answer to the question is yes. There is space for her in the PT world. Yeah, just
I
finishing with that.
agree. There's no limitations technically with working in the PT world. Like if you go, say, for an air hostess, there is actually certain limitations. You have to be a certain height so you can hit the like, the overhead compartments, all that. There's actually rules for certain jobs. There is no rules being a PT. Technically, she can be a PT. But is she a perfect example of health? I don't agree with that. And I think if she's bringing clients in under the illusion that this is enough to be healthy, then that's false advertisement because you're selling a lie. Now, if she remodeled her kind of program and went with the idea of being like, I'm also unhealthy, but I'm on this journey too, let's do it together, then I'd be like, yes, you're working towards a health and fitness goal, but you can be, as me, fit as a fiddle, but have unhealthy habits like herself.
I think you touched on a really good point there. I was thinking this was if would it not be a better example for her to have actually shown the process of her getting in shape and the fact that yes, she's got struggles, yes, she's never going to have washboard abs, but you know what? She finds it extremely difficult to go to the gym. Documenting that alongside her clients, but actually showing there is an end point to A to B because right now, if her end point is yes, you can go in the gym, but you're still going to look like me. I'm like, is that a worthwhile endpoint? My argument probably is no. But in terms of like, is there a place for her? I think it's a very difficult one. Like, will people resonate more with her than they would? Well, like, again, the opposite end of the spectrum at the very start of the documentary, it showed clips of literally bodybuilders with protein shakes in a studio going, "Oh, out of shape PTs. How do they get business?" I'm going, well, yous aren't exactly the kind of beacon for health and fitness either. Like with the amount of
You're
performance
extreme.
enhancing drugs that you take and the amount that you train and everything else. I'm like, that's very off-putting to a large amount of people as well. Yes, you'll have your niche. Do I agree with bodybuilding being healthy? If anything, bodybuilders have the worst relationship with food, as bad a relationship with food than anybody else. You're talking about undereating, fuck, it's there. Talking about bad body image, yeah, it's there. Do I think bodybuilders should exist or are harmful? That's a whole different conversation for a different day. Is there space for them? Yes, I think there's space for them, but it is dangerous. Like any extreme thing, she's extreme. We need to look at it as extreme. Will she find, like, can she be in business? Yeah, there'll be a niche for her. Like, will people go to her because they think that they can relate to her? Yes. The thing that I would be worried about, though, is the echo chamber of it's okay. So we all have done like sessions or been in either on the coaching side or the client side of personal training sessions. When it comes to personal training sessions, like you often get people going, "Oh, do you know what? I had a tough weekend, and this is what happened, and like I just really like my nutrition needs to be sorted out." As someone who has been in that position myself, who've had tough weekends, have put on a bit more weight, have done this, whatever. My thing to that is, okay, cool. How do we look at like making sure that like things can be a bit smoother for you and fit your life and we can start to move you a little bit along? My issue, again, as a fly in the wall to that conversation might be, ah, sure, but you're here at the gym and that's what matters. You've done the hardest thing. You're here at the gym and it's okay. Like food for you right now is it's good that you're doing that because you know what the alternative is that you don't exist. And I'm like, well, does that need to be the alternative? Can there not be a progressive, like, can we not move you out of that red zone and by moving your body as well as your mental? Like, I think both things can be true at the same time, and that's where I would worry that she's maybe not. And again, that's also down to the limitation that she might be qualified as a PT, but she's not qualified as a therapist or as someone who works in mental health. As far as I'm aware, I don't think it was highlighted. Bear in mind, I watched it 4 times in the documentary. That's what she does. So I would be worried through the lens of just having chats with people and being in the gym that she doesn't have the tools to move those people because you are dealing with people with highly charged issues in the gym. It's difficult. And again, I know I'm going on a bit of tangent here, but as someone who has 10 years of gym floor experience, I have tried to tackle ideas of things that are things I don't understand in the past. Young, naive. Sometimes it works. Like genuinely have a conversation with someone and you know what, they're like, fuck, you've really helped me and changed my life. Sometimes someone's so deep into something and you think you can help them because you help somebody else. you open up a can of worms and it can make things worse. So I think sometimes you need to be careful about how deep into Pandora's box you get. And just because you're a PT in the gym floor and you can help people somehow doesn't give you the right to be able to start prying into those things.
Yeah, 100% agree, mate. I think you answered that very, very well. Right, the question that we kind of asked at the start of the podcast, will we summarize it? Should PTs be in shape? Kyle, do you want to go first? Summarize it, mind. Not another 10-minute tangent.
PTs should be in shape for the people that they're trying to attract. Really,
Okay.
that's my summarized version.
Shannon?
PT should be in shape for the average person, neither one of the extremes.
Yeah, I think PTs should be practicing what they preach. If you're coaching a specific way, you should probably look a specific way for that niche or physically be able to do the thing that you're coaching as well. But should they be in shape was the question. Yes or no? No context, just quick fire. Should they be in shape? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a difficult one to say yes or no to and not get clipped, but I think the only caveat I would be is it depends on what your version of shape is.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
yes, they should be in shape to whatever version of shape is defined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aye. It's very, very subjective. But no, I think that was the bee's knees, that answer.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Gary, where can I find you?
At Gary_biofitness. Shannon, where can I find you?
Shan_biofitness, and all complaints can be sent to where, Kyle?
Shan_biofitness. Thanks to Dave and Toby for the music. We will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.